Imagine a universe in which life teems almost everywhere and, at the same time, technological intelligence is so rare as to seem like an accident. This idea shatters a comfortable intuition. If life arises, then sooner or later someone will build radios, telescopes, probes. And yet that may not be the case. There could be a statistical abyss between the appearance of life and the emergence of a mind capable of leaving traces on a cosmic scale. It is a thought with nothing science fictional about it, because it does not speak of encounters, mysteries, or civilizations in hiding. It speaks of probabilities, of biological constraints, of evolutionary steps that are not meant to happen. Earth, in this reading, is not proof that intelligence is common. It is the far more sober and far more powerful proof that it is possible. To truly grasp the argument, one must begin with a clean definition of life. Not a poetic notion, not an energy, not a will. In its most essential form, life is a chemical process capable of replicating and varying, stable enough to leave descendants, imperfect enough to generate differences. Replication, variation, selection. This triad is the minimal engine that turns molecules into genealogies. Life, in this sense, does not coincide with a civilization, nor even with an animal. Life can be a bacterium, a single cell, a colony of simple organisms that do one thing and do it well, copy themselves by exploiting energy and matter from their environment. Once this definition is accepted, it becomes clear that life and civilization occupy different planes. Life is chemistry that learns to persist. Civilization is a much later story, a fragile construction that requires particular conditions and a long chain of fortunate events. Now a single fact enters the scene, one that by itself changes the tone of the question. Earth formed about 4.5 billion years ago. The earliest signals compatible with a biosphere appear very early on a geological timescale. At moments that, relative to the planet's age, seem almost immediate. This does not mean we can reconstruct every detail, nor that we have a snapshot of the first organism. It does mean, however, that the window between a young world still in flux and the emergence of biological processes may be surprisingly short. This cautiously suggests that the rise of simple life might not be an extremely rare event when the right ingredients are present: liquid water, organic chemistry, energy sources, surfaces and gradients in which reactions can organize themselves. Life could be, in a sense, easy, in the statistical meaning of the term, not inevitable, but plausible in many places. A universe full of planets and moons with diverse environments could produce many biological experiments, most of them tiny, silent, without spectacle. And this is where the most common misunderstanding is born, mistaking a rapid beginning for a guaranteed destination. To say, life appeared early on Earth, and conclude, therefore intelligence is common, is like seeing a spark and deducing that there will be a fire every time. The spark alone is not enough. You need suitable fuel, you need oxygen, you need a favorable geometry, you need nothing to snuff out the flame in its first moments. Simple life may ignite. Technological intelligence requires the flame to traverse a labyrinth. And that labyrinth is made of evolutionary thresholds that are not guaranteed, because natural selection does not aim at a finish line. Selection rewards what works here and now, in a specific environment, with no obligation toward complexity or consciousness. If an organism remains simple and successful, it will remain simple. If an ecosystem stabilizes around efficient microbial forms, there is no hidden force pushing it to invent brains. In other words, life is not a ladder that naturally leads to technology. It is a tree with branches that break, go extinct, duplicate, explore strange and often repetitive directions. Earth itself, which today appears rich in animals and plants, was for an immense span of time a world dominated by microscopic forms. And this often forgotten fact prepares the decisive separation. Life does not mean intelligence. Life means above all chemical continuity, resilience, local adaptation. Intelligence. The kind capable of building complex tools and leaving recognizable signals across astronomical distances, is a special case, not a biological destiny. And if the distance between life and intelligence were vast, then the silence of the sky would cease to be a dramatic mystery and would become a reasonable prediction. But before reaching that point, one must pass through, one by one, the steps that terrestrial evolution had to guess, without maps and without guarantees, before anyone could even think of sending a signal into space. The first leap is cellular complexity. For billions of years, life can thrive with simple, efficient, robust cells. The emergence of complex cells with internal compartments, with an architecture capable of managing energy and information in more sophisticated ways, may be a rare or at least difficult event. Not because it is superior, but because it requires a delicate combination of cooperation and control, stable integrations, symbioses that do not collapse, balances that withstand parasitism. The next step, multicellularity, seems almost intuitive when we see it everywhere, but in reality it is not a simple enlargement. It is the birth of bodies made of millions of cells that renounce individual reproduction and accept specialized roles. It means coordination, development, internal communication, a system to prevent individual elements from betraying the common project. This too, in a universe of planets, might occur rarely or over extraordinarily long timescales. Then comes the nervous system, and with it a new form of biological speed. An organism that perceives and reacts quickly can do things a slow organism cannot: pursue, flee, anticipate. But a nervous system is not an automatic prize. It is costly, fragile, energy-hungry, prone to failure in many ways. And an advanced brain, capable of abstraction, of building models of the world, of imagining scenarios, is even more demanding. It is not enough to have neurons. You need an ecosystem that makes it advantageous to invest in such an expensive machine. You need an evolutionary history in which selective pressure favors memory, learning, planning, and does so for long enough. Here another illusion opens up, confusing animal intelligence with technological intelligence. On Earth there are many forms of intelligence. There are astonishing abilities of orientation, communication, problem-solving, cooperation. And yet, among millions of species, only one has developed a technology capable of transforming the planet and producing signals observable from space. Only one. This is not an argument that intelligence cannot arise elsewhere. It is an argument that being intelligent in a biological sense is not enough. An additional chain of conditions is required: fine manipulation of the environment, systematic use of tools, stable cultural transmission. Symbolic language is needed, the ability to represent concepts and relationships in shared signs, so that knowledge can be built outside the individual brain. And cumulative culture is needed, the mechanism by which each generation does not start from zero but inherits, corrects, and amplifies what was discovered before. Without cumulative culture, invention remains episodic. With cumulative culture, invention becomes an avalanche. But even cumulative culture is not guaranteed. It depends on social structures, on long developmental periods, on education, on cooperation, on a certain degree of stability. It depends even on material details: an environment in which learning is useful, sufficient resources to support individuals who do not immediately produce, tools that can be refined. And it depends on a balance between competition and collaboration that is far from obvious. Each step, taken on its own, could fail. Not because the push is missing, but because nature does not push toward a single goal. Nature explores. And many explorations remain on paths that work perfectly well without ever reaching technology. At this point, Earth stops being an example of normality and becomes an example of possibility. A planet can be alive and remain forever, or almost forever, a planet of microbes. It can have complex ecosystems devoid of brains capable of symbols. It can have brains capable of symbols but lack the social and environmental conditions to turn them into cumulative technology. Our history, seen this way, appears as a rare concatenation. Not a miracle, but a sequence of low-probability events that, once they have occurred, seem natural because we are looking at them from the inside. And this is how this perspective offers a sober solution to cosmic silence. If simple life is relatively common, the universe could be full of worlds in which chemistry replicates and evolves. Worlds with dark oceans, with ice crusts, with damp soils, with energetic niches. A universe not empty, but biologically discrete. If technological intelligence is rare, however, then the number of civilizations capable of producing strong, recognizable, long-lasting signals may be small. And even when they exist, they may last only briefly on a cosmic timescale, or communicate in ways we do not intercept, or simply not be numerous enough to fill the sky with obvious traces. The result is not a novelistic paradox. It is a prediction compatible with a fragile evolutionary chain. Many living planets, very few, visible ones. The final consequence is not pessimistic. If anything, it is more demanding. If humanity were a rare event, our responsibility would not diminish, it would increase. Not because we are special, in a mystical sense, but because we might represent one of the few occasions in which the matter of the universe becomes capable of reflecting on itself, of doing science, of preserving memory, of building shared meaning. It may be that the universe observes itself here, at least in this region of space and in this stretch of time. This is not an absolute claim. It is a hypothesis born of statistical reasoning. Life may emerge with relative ease. Technological intelligence may require a series of exceptional coincidences. Earth does not tell us that intelligence is common. It tells us that it is possible. And that possibility, precisely because it is not guaranteed, makes every collective choice heavier, every piece of knowledge more precious, every act of care for the future more rational. If we truly are one of the few places where the cosmos becomes conscious, then the question is not, where are the others? The question is, what will we do, now that we exist? If you've made it this far, it means you love curiosity as much as we do. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a like, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to support what we do. Your presence truly makes a difference. Until the next exploration.